guys, Lucas Sacco here. This is the Yubel combo tutorial for Nats. If you guys are doing Euros or NA Nats, whatever, it's going to encompass all of that. We're going to get right into the video. This is just a combo that involves just Nightmare Throne. So we're going to start with activating Nightmare Throne and searching Fiendsmith Lotus, and then normal summon Lotus and use the effect to special summon Spirit from deck. You can use Spirit to set Pain from deck, and then we're going to use Pain's effect to then destroy the Spirit of Yubel and search for Squirmer, which is then going to trigger the Spirit of Yubel and Nightmare Throne. So Nightmare Throne is going to go ahead and add here. Then you have the option to special summon, ignoring summoning conditions. This is really important to keep in mind that the card does add instead of just special summoning. You can even use this card to put back your own Phantom of Yubels, like the level 9 fusion monster, by destroying your own cards. It's really important if you're only playing 2 of them, so that's something to keep in mind. But we are going to add Yubel Terror Incarnate, then special summon it from hand, and resolve the Spirit of Yubel to special summon Yubel from deck. So now the safest thing here to do 2-player on Nib is we're going to link both those monsters into Yama and add Sharvara, because at this point, now we are nibbable. It's best that we get as many resources out of it as possible. So this is their one opportunity to nib. If they do decide to nib here, it's not really going to matter. We're going to fusion summon and finish the full combo. But let's just assume they don't nib and we're able to full combo. We're then going to fusion summon into Phantom of Yubel. And this is the reason that this is their last opportunity to nib. It's because now we kind of have a negate. This is going to actually make our board a little bit better if they do decide to nib us. So we're going to trigger our Gruesome Grave Squirmer to special summon out because we control a Fiend monster, and then link with our Squirmer and Yama into Soul of Rage. We're going to trigger out the Squirmer to special summon out a Spirit of Yubel. The reason we're doing this is so we can expand out as many bodies as possible. We're going to go Sharvara to destroy Spirit of Yubel, and then Yama to special summon it back out. So it's going to give us a bunch of bodies here to play with, and here's how you use those bodies in the most efficient way. We're going to link the Yubel and Sharvara into Moon of the Closed Sky, which is going to trigger Sharvara's effect to then set the Chamber from the deck. In the TCG, you'll see a lot of players are starting to play this card, as opposed to in the OCG, they're starting to play, they all have been playing Escape, which is like the pop trap. The TCG is starting to play around Dark Ruler a lot more. That's more popular over here. Board Breakers, just in general, have been more popular in the TCG because they have things like Maxi, which synergizes a little bit better with hand traps. So we're going to set our Chamber from deck, and then link 1 into Requiem, and use Requiem's effect to tribute itself and special summon the Fiendsmith. Now we're just going to link away the Fiendsmith and Spirit of Yubel into Sequentia, and use that effect to fusion summon. So put back both the link monsters, summon into Lacrimosa, and use Lacrimosa to then add the Fiendsmith to hand. We're then going to use the Fiendsmith's effect to discard itself and to search for Tractus, and Tractus is going to do its thing of adding Lurie and discarding Lurie. Lurie's going to summon out. I'm sure you guys have seen this just about 1,000 times. And then we're going to do something a little interesting here. We're going to link away our Rage and our Sequentia now into Appaloosa, now that we've gotten some progress on our board. And then we're going to fusion summon again with Samsara D Lotus and the Yubel into Phantom of Yubel. And this one we're just kind of using as a link material. We're going to obviously make the fusion, then link away a Lurie right here into Moon of the Closed Sky. And then we can use Fiendsmith to put back our Fabled Lurie and special summon itself out. The reason we do have to kind of waste a fusion monster here is because we have to put a Light Fiend in our graveyard that's not Sequentia, because we need Sequentia to be there for the end of the turn. So we're going to do that play that we just did, and then we're going to trigger the Tractus in our graveyard to fusion summon, which is just going to fusion those 3 Light Fiends off of our field into Desiree, and then get Lacrimosa to burn them for 1,200, and then equip our Sequentia. So this board here is an Appaloosa for 2 negates, and it's pretty certain that you're going to get both the negates off of this Appaloosa, assuming they don't impermanent or drop it or something, because they can't really attack it. You have a Yubel monster that they have to attack instead of attacking your Appaloosa. We have ways to play around Dark Ruler, because if they do activate Dark Ruler, we can chain our trap to special out, we can chain our Desiree to the trap card, not to the Dark Ruler, to then negate that Dark Ruler no more. So in total, this is 1 disruption with Phantom of Yubel, 2 with Appaloosa, 1 to 2 with Desiree, and then basically 3 off of the Chamber. So depending on how you count this, this can be upwards of 8 disruptions. But that's it for the 1-card Throne combo. I'm going to show you guys the Beckoning Beast combo now. So with just the 1-card Beckoning Beast combo, we actually are going to end with a lot. It's important to keep in mind that with this combo specifically, we do have to discard 2 cards. So just keep that in mind as you're trying to play and what you're wanting to do, planning out your turn. So we're going to start with activating Opening of the Spirit Gates. And this can be either Beckoning or Opening. I went ahead and started with Opening just so you guys can see why we actually play the brick of Chaos Summoning Beast in the deck. So Opening is going to add a monster that mentions Uriah. Almost always going to be adding Dark Beckoning Beast. And then Dark Beckoning Beast can add a card that mentions Uriah. So You can't add another Beckoning Beast here because that's not going to get you to full or you can't add another like opening here because that's not going to get you to full combo. And then Beckoning Beast can't add itself, so that's the reason that you do have to play the brick so that opening can be full combo. And then opening is just by far one of the best cards that you can draw in the deck, so we do want to make sure that that card's full combo. This card absolutely has no text on it. It has no effect in our deck. It is just a Fiend 0/0 that's searchable. So we're going to use our extra normal summon from Dark Beckoning Beast on that. We're going to link into Moon of the Closed Sky, and then link that into Requiem, and use Requiem to summon out the Fiendsmith. Next thing we're going to do is use Opening's other effect here to discard one card and special summon a Fiend with 0/0 from the graveyard. So we're going to discard one of our cards and special summon that back out. Quick thing I did want to mention, this card has a hidden effect that I don't know if all of you guys are fully aware of, but if you control a level 10 monster, it does let you to just add a continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand. So I know some people have been playing deck lockdown in this deck because as you do get into a grind game, you can actually use it to add back your Floodgate every couple turns. It's really cool. You can add back your Pain, other copies of Opening, and then obviously like Floodgates, like deck lockdown, things like that. But that's just something to keep in mind. After we summon back the Dark Beckoning Beast, we are going to go ahead and link though into Sequentia and use Sequentia's effect to fusion summon, putting back both of the link monsters to make Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa is then going to add the Fiendsmith to our hand. This is something you're going to see in a lot of Yubel combos, is that they're going to use Lacrimosa to add the Fiendsmith to hand because we're trying to end with the fusion monster, if possible, the Desiree. If you choose to summon out the Fiendsmith, it's going to be the same amount of bodies, but you're not going to have the Tractus in your graveyard, so it's really important that you put the card in your hand. So now we're going to use the Fiendsmith's effect to discard it and add Tractus, and then use Tractus to do the Lurry thing, where you add Lurry and discard it right away to summon it out. This combo is a little bit different than some that you've seen. I'm sure you were expecting us to like make Beatrice, detach, then Muckracker it back. But we're going to save a discard earlier by going for a little bit of a different approach. We're going to link the Sequentia and the Lurry into Yama, and then use Yama's effect to add Sharvara. Now we can use the effect of Fiendsmith to special summon himself back out, putting back our Lurry, and then we can overlay with our Lacrimosa into Beatrice to then dump our Samsara Lotus. Now we're going to link into Rage and use Sharvara to destroy the Rage. This is going to be how we're going to revive our Yubel engine. So we're going to go Chainlink 1 Rage, Chainlink 2 Yama. Yama is going to special summon out our Samsara Lotus, and then we're going to add back the Fiendsmith. It's really important that we add this here for something that comes up later in the combo, but just keep in mind that you do need to add back the Fiendsmith here instead of like any of your other follow-up. We're going to add that to hand, then trigger Lotus effect to special summon Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel sets the trap or the Nightmare Pain from deck. The Nightmare Pain destroys Spirit of Yubel to search Squirmer again. We're going to go Spirit of Yubel, special summon Yubel, and Squirmer special summon out and pop our Yubel. Basically, anytime that you have Squirmer without the field spell, you are going to use that additional pop that it has. It just gets you more like Yubel names in circulation. So now we're going to use Yubel's effect and special summon Terror Incarnate, and then we're going to fusion summon. So now we're fully safe from any sort of like hand trap from here. It's a little bit scary with the Beckoning Beast. You have to play into hand traps, but there's so many different extenders in this deck. You can just punish hand traps really easy. Like when I was testing the deck, you could play through 3 to 4 hand traps just about every other hand. So now we're going to link 2 into Muckracker, and then we're going to fusion summon again by using Terror Incarnate and the Chaos Summoning Beast, or the other Beckoning Beast, whichever you do have. And then we're going to summon Phantom of Yubel. We're going to link away Sharvar and Phantom of Yubel into Moon of the Closed Sky for the second time this turn, just because we're going to need Light Fiends in order to fusion summon. We're going to link those away, and we're going to trigger Sharvar's effect to set the trap from deck. And then we're going to Muckracker, discard our other card to special summon back out Lacrimosa. We're going to activate Tractus to fusion summon, which is going to get us onto Desiree. I recommend putting this card in like the zones 2 or 4, the anima zones, just because this card's not going to be targetable because of the effect of Sequentia, which says your opponent cannot target the equipped monster with card effects. So it's better that we put a monster there that's not targetable. That way we can avoid like accidentally getting our guy like taken away from us. So we're going to put our Desiree there. And then because Lacrimosa was sent to the graveyard, we can put the Moon of the Closed Sky back for the second time this turn and burn them for 1200 damage. We can use the Squirmer's effect to then special summon out Yubel. This is how we're going to get our next form of disruption. And then we're going to Sequentia equip onto Desiree. During the end phase, we're going to use Yubel's effect, which says, during the end phase, tribute a monster or destroy this card. So we're going to choose to tribute the Muckracker. And the reason we're doing that is so that we can have more Yubels on the field, and then we can special summon back out Samsara Lotus. Optionally, you can choose to like summon out Samsara Lotus, then use Yubel and just destroy itself if you're wanting. That leaves the Muckracker on the field, but personally, I just think it's better to have multiple Yubels on the field. It makes it a lot harder to push through the board. So this board itself is 1 Disruption with Samsarity Lotus, 1 with Phantom of Yubel, 1 to 2 with Desiree, and then you have the Trap card, which is going to summon out Chamber again and basically be 3 Disruptions. So that's for the Beckoning Beast combo. A couple more things I do want to show you. I'm going to show you just Lotus, and then I'm going to show you guys how you can play through Droll, because I know that's a lot of the reasons that you guys are kind of scared maybe looking at this deck is because of Droll being so popular. Alright, with just Samsarity Lotus, we're going to start off by normal summoning it using the effect Special Summon Out Spirit, something you guys have seen a couple times in this video. We're going to place Pain from our deck and then activate it and use it to destroy Spirit of Yubel, searching for Squirmer. Summoning the Yubel off of the effective Spirit. Now we're going to Special Squirmer and pop our Yubel. Yubel is then going to trigger to Special Summon Terror Incarnate. And from here, we're going to link 2 into Yama again. This is going to get us as many cards as possible before we're able to get nibbed. In this combo, we're actually going to play into nib quite a bit, but there are still a lot of recovery options. Really good thing about this deck is even if you do end up getting double or triple hand trapped, you're always going to end with at least like Pain and the Fusion Monster. So it's going to be pretty tough to play through the board still, especially if you have non-engine on top of it. So after we've made our Yama, we're going to Fusion Summon using Terror Incarnate and Yubel to summon out a Phantom of Yubel. But we're not going to keep it on the field this time. We actually do need the Link body early just so we can maximize the amount of stuff we end up putting on the board. So we're going to link it away into Moon of the Close Sky, then link that away into Requiem and use Requiem's effect to special summon from the deck. That puts the Fiendsmith on the field. Now we're going to use Squirmer's effect to then special summon Spirit of Yubel, and we can use Sharvara to destroy that Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel is then going to trigger to special summon out the Yubel, and we're going to use Chainlink to Yama to special summon back to the Spirit of Yubel. We're just doing this so we can get as many bodies as possible. Now we're going to link 2 with the Yubel and the Fiendsmith into Sequentia, and use Sequentia to now Fusion Summon by putting back both of our Link monsters into Lacrimosa, and then Lacrimosa to special summon out the Fiendsmith. This is one of the very few combos in the deck where you don't add the Fiendsmith back to hand, just because we're not going to Fusion Summon this turn off our Tractus. We're not going to use our Lurry, we're not going to use any of that. So you might as well just leave it in our deck. That way, in case we do draw into like a Fiendsmith or something, we have that full line still available to us. So we're going to summon back our Fiendsmith here. Now we're going to link away the Fiendsmith and Sharvara into Soul of Rage, use Sharvara to set our trap card here, and now we can actually link into a 2400 attack Appaloosa. This is a little bit better than a 1600 because you do have one additional negate, especially in this deck, because like I said, we're probably going to be getting all of the negates out of it, just because we do have like a protection from battle with the Pain. So now that we're here, we're going to use the Fusion Summon again by putting back our Yubel and our Lotus to make Phantom of Yubel, and then we can use the Fiendsmith to put back Sequentia and now overlay it into Caesar. So off of just one card, and this is our like less optimal starter, we ended with Appaloosa, which is 3 disruptions. We have 1 more from Phantom of Yubel. We have 2 off of Caesar, and then we have our trap card here, which is going to revive our Rage. We're going to get 1 disruption from removing their body when we link. We're going to SP something and banish it, and then we have SP's additional banish. So you can count this up to like 9 disruptions if you really think about it. And that's all off of 1 card. But people are really scared to play this deck just because of Droll being in the format. That's something that I think a lot of people have like overhyped Droll being super good. So I'm going to show you guys a few options of what happens when you can like get Droll, when you can play through Droll. Okay, so this is what happens when you have just Samsarity Lotus and they have Droll. We're going to start with normal summon Samsarity Lotus, special summon Spirit from deck. The same thing we've done just about every single combo. We're going to set Pain from deck and then use Pain to destroy our Spirit of Yubel, search for Squirmer, and then we can use Spirit of Yubel to special Yubel. Chainlink 2 will be the Droll here. So we've been Drolled. Here's how you can play through this optimally, just don't end on like a plethora of disruptions. We're going to special summon Squirmer here by destroying the Yubel, and use Yubel to special summon Terror Incarnate. Like I said, we're doing this basically every time, just want to maximize the amount of Yubel monsters that we have, that way we can fusion summon with them. We're now going to link 2 into Moon of the Close Sky, and fusion summon with Yubel and the Terror Incarnate into the Phantom of Yubel. Now this one here is actually going to stay on the field, so we do have like protection from Nib in this combo. We're going to link 1 into Moon, and then use the, link Moon into Requiem, then use Requiem to summon Fiendsmith. We can use the Squirmer now to special summon from the graveyard, and then link our newly summoned Spirit of Yubel and the Fiendsmith into Sequentia. Sequentia is going to fusion summon by putting back our 2 links, same as every time, summoning out the Lacrimosa, then Lacrimosa is going to summon out our Fiendsmith. We're not going to add it back here because we're under Droll. It's not going to really do us anything, so we're going to summon it out. And from here, we have 2 options. So I'm going to show you option 1 first. Option 1 is we just link the Fiendsmith and Sequentia into SP. And then we can actually use Fiendsmith to special summon out, putting back the Sequentia, and then we can end with Caesar. So through Droll, we were actually able to end with SP, 2 Caesar disruptions, and Yubel. That's 4 disruptions off of 1 card, and we got hand trapped. That's more than almost every deck does right now. So for the other option, we're gonna rewind time just a little bit to when we were right here. So you just use your Sequentia Fusion Summon. You got Lacrimosa summon Fiendsmith. The other option you have is you can link away the Fiendsmith and Sequentia into Yama, and you're not going to get Yamazad because you're under the Droll, but you can Fusion Summon now, going through a second Phantom of Yubel, which lets you get to Rage at this point instead of just an SP, and then we can use the Fiendsmith Summon back and make Caesar again, if that's one thing you're wanting to do. So with this board, instead of just having 4 disruptions, we now have the 2 from Caesar, 1 from Phantom of Yubel, and then the 3 that Rage gets you. So we now have 6 disruptions through a Droll, and we have a little bit of protection to our board as well because we do have Yama still in the graveyard. So that's pretty much all the things that I wanted to show you today with the Yubel deck. If you guys had any questions for me, please leave it down below. If you wanted to see any other decks, please comment. Maybe I can get it pushed out before the NAWCQ, or at like minimum I can get it out before Euros. But I do want to know what you guys are wanting to see in this new format, and I do really appreciate you guys for watching the video. I hope you have a great